Am I the asshole for refusing to respond to my nickname? I started a new job recently. Apparently I went to middle school with one of my coworkers. We're both in high school. She remembers me, I don't remember her. I'll call her Jane. A week or two ago Jane asked me if I go by the nickname version of my name. Think Nikki for Nicole, not my name but close enough. I said no, I hate being called Nikki. She said oh, but it's such a cute name. We used to have a Nikki that worked here. Then she proceeded to ask another coworker if she remembered Nikki. Other people have asked if I go by a nickname and I always say no. They respect that. Jane doesn't. Whenever she's trying to get my attention she calls me Nikki. I reminded her that I don't like being called that. She claimed she forgot. Then she kept doing it so I started ignoring her. Yesterday she was calling Nikki, but trying to get my attention and I didn't respond. Another coworker said Jane is calling you. I looked at Jane to see what she wanted and she said something. When Jane walked away I told the coworker that I don't like being called Nikki and Jane keeps doing it and it annoys me. She said it's just a nickname, what's the big deal, don't be petty. She probably forgot. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. I really hate being called Nikki. Am I the asshole for ignoring Jane when she calls me that? Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my son's college tuition? I, 39M, had a one-night stand in college, and the girl, who we'll call Jade, got pregnant. I agreed to pay child support, but that was all. This arrangement has worked for 18 years, and I never liked the idea of having kids anyway, so I don't really mind that my son, Marty, 18M, and I have no contact. Jade never got a boyfriend or anything after she had Marty, so she's been doing a pretty good job all by herself. We're still friends to this day, and I've only spoken to Marty a few times. Marty, having recently graduated high school, wants to get into college. His tuition is expensive though, and as a single parent, Jade can't afford it and won't fund his tuition because of that. Marty got my number from Jade, and asked if I would help pay for his tuition. He made a point saying that I have a well-paying job, he was my only son, and I'd never been there for him as a dad, so I should at least pay his tuition. I refused, because first off, I've paid Jade child support and extra money on the side for his entire life. And second, I never wanted kids to begin with. Child support was the condition I took to not have to directly care for one. He said that it was selfish of me to pretend like I didn't have an obligation to him, and I told him I did have an obligation, which was to pay for him until he was an adult. He protested saying that I never gave him anything and quat, which just isn't true. I made sure Jade had the money to care for him, and gave him gifts through Jade on occasion. Jade and I have been content with this arrangement for years, and she does a great job being a parent. I funded a whole lot of my son's life. I basically paid for everything Jade couldn't, like extracurriculars and sometimes even bills and groceries if she was in a bad spot. Jade agrees that Marty is being unreasonable in this demand, and she's thankful that I was there to support them both. She told Marty he had other options, and it would hurt my finances too. His tuition is tens of thousands of dollars. I get paid more than average, but not enough to afford that. He's pissed at Jade for taking my side, saying I'm an unsupportive bum, and that I've done nothing for him in the long run. But that's just not true. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling a woman that it would be more sanitary for her to apply makeup to her wrist? I, 20F, am a part-time shift manager, part-time customer service/register manager at Sephora. Have been working there since I was 17, and probably will stay a bit long after I finish school, just because of how much I love it. But I did not at all love what happened yesterday, which was something left me quite astonished, as this has never happened before. I was service and register manager, and was just quietly strolling the store, looking for customers in need of assistance, when I came across this woman, about my age, kind of looks like Sydney Sweeney. She was looking through some liquid lipsticks at the time, wasn't applying them or anything, just looking. I asked if she needed any help and she said no. I then reminded her she was free to try anything on, but if she was applying it onto her actual face, it'd be better if she used a cotton swab. She thanked me and proceeded to look around. When I came back from a quick 5-minute break my boss granted me, I went back to the looking through the aisles of the store. I then found her in the same aisle, applying liquid lipsticks to her cleavage. She was wearing a shirt that made this possible. I was obviously confused, and told her it was better to apply to her wrist, because it was more standard and sanitary. She just stood there shocked for a second, then replied, "Excuse me?" in the most judgmental way ever. I repeated the same thing, then handed her a cotton pad with makeup remover on it. She then said, "I heard you the first time. Why the hell would you be concerned about how sanitary my tits are?" I then said I obviously wasn't, and just recommend that she applies makeup to a more common area, like her face or wrist. She then said I don't need to worry, as she is a very clean person. I said that the issue was she was applying makeup to her cleavage, and even if she's a clean person, nonetheless, it's still completely unnecessarily and weird. I then told her this time, I wasn't asking, and if she wasn't going to stop, she'd be kicked out of the store. She then said that we should keep our rules of her body, And I'm probably some pro-life ass wipe, then flipped me off. I then said she was going to have to leave. Was I the asshole? Should I have been any nicer?